I'm Francesca, and I'm a death doula, but I do not promise or advertise a good death for my clients. I find that the term is too subjective, and people's interpretation of what good means differs. I also feel like it runs the risk of undermining the force that is death. I came to death work by way of birth, and as a birth doula, I attended many births. After the first couple dozen, I realized that no matter the amount of planning in advance, conversations we had, questions that my clients asked of me or of their providers or of their loved ones and support team, which were all really valuable efforts in order to feel prepared for the experience and informed. No matter how much time and energy we put into that, we still had to build in margins for the unexpected, because inevitably, in most cases, there would be at least a twist or a turn, if not many, and we would have to respond in accordance to the needs of the moment as they were changing. And it's pretty similar with death. And the goal remains the same for both, which is safety and personalized care throughout, and having a voice and feeling empowered and involved in the experience. What it comes down to for me, I think, whether I think about birth or death and trying to aim for or cling to the idea of it being good, is control, really, and our yearning to have control, to exercise control. And when it comes to these thresholds of birthing and dying, we can't control all of the circumstances. We're not meant to. And really, these journeys are meant to be respected, not controlled. They're meant to be worked with, not controlled. They're meant to be, as much as we can possibly muster, embraced instead of controlled. What we can do, though, is try to create an atmosphere that feels most hospitable to the arrival of the end of life. And that's what I really do as a doula in advance, having conversations, thinking about wishes, building out documents that express those wishes, thinking about the conditions, the atmosphere around a person, how they could feel comforted, safe, celebrated as themselves and the life that they have lived, how to welcome people in and out of that space. All of that is really valuable work that we do in advance in terms of planning and preparing. And also in the moment, we have to be flexible and we have to be ready to adjust. We have to think about contingency plans and we have to modify as things change. So for example, when my grandmother was dying, we didn't know that we were walking into what would be her final hours. We just knew that something had happened and that we needed to come quickly. So when we arrived at her memory care home, I quickly realized that she was actively dying. As soon as I laid eyes on her, it was very clear to me. We hadn't been prepared for that. And that was okay. That was the reality of the situation. So instead of lamenting about it or resisting, I made a decision to enter in and accept what was happening and to try to do what I could with it. And so that meant making small adjustments to the space, to her room. It meant shifting in for me internally, messaging to myself, my breathing, my focus, my attention, my energy, all of that adjusting to the needs of the moment, using the kind of encouragement, the sentiments that I think she would have appreciated hearing if she could have expressed her preferences to us, turning on some music that I felt like she would have loved to hear, just talking to her, holding her hand, making sure that she was as comfortable as possible during that time and that she felt as loved as possible. So for me as a doula, it's not about promising anyone a good death, trying to strive for what that might mean. It's about assuring that people will have a supported death, that they will feel informed in advance as much as possible, that they will feel involved, that they will feel honored. That is the hope that I hold as a doula and as a loved one when I step into someone's end-of-life journey. So here's to navigating the mysteries, maintaining margins for the unexpected, and trying to lean into the unique unfolding of each person's journey.